the laws and the way of thinking concerning divorce differs greatly from country to country. If you're considering about getting a divorce in Japan, you need to familiarize yourself with the laws and the legal system of Japan. In this video, a lawyer who specializes in international divorce will explain about key points and processes for foreign nationals getting divorced in Japan, as well as go over frequently asked questions. I'm a foreign national. I currently live in Japan with my spouse, but it has become difficult for me to continue my marriage. I'm thinking about getting a divorce, but I'm not familiar with what the process entails for foreign nationals residing in Japan. Ms. Tabata, would you explain to me how to file for a divorce in Japan? When a foreign resident files for a divorce in Japan, there are two important key points you must confirm before initiating the process. First, you must confirm which country's laws will govern your divorce procedures. This is called governing law. Second, you must confirm whether the Japanese court has the legal power to deal with your divorce through a mediation or a lawsuit. This is called jurisdiction. The governing law and the jurisdiction will greatly affect how to proceed with your divorce process as well as its outcome. Let me explain more in detail. I first mentioned about confirming the governing law. In other words, you must confirm whether you are able to file for a divorce under the Japanese law. If you or your spouse is Japanese, then the governing law will be the laws of Japan. If you and your spouse are both foreign nationals of the same nationality, then the governing law will be the laws of your home country. If you and your spouse are both foreign nationals of different nationalities, the governing law will be the laws of your habitual residence, meaning the place where you and your spouse have been residing for a period of time as a married couple. So, if you and your spouse are foreign nationals of different nationalities and have been residing in Japan long-term, you can divorce under the laws of Japan. I then mentioned about confirming the jurisdiction. You must confirm if you're eligible to file a petition for mediation or file a lawsuit in Japan. Let me explain further. For example, if you live in Japan but your spouse lives outside of Japan, you cannot file a lawsuit in Japan regardless of your spouse's nationality. There are exceptions, so please confirm with the lawyer. On the other hand, if you live outside of Japan but your spouse lives in Japan, you are able to file a lawsuit with the Japanese court. Again, it is important to first confirm if you're eligible to divorce under the laws of Japan and to initiate legal action in Japan. Please do not forget to check on these two key points. But let me note that even if you're granted a divorce in Japan, it may be that divorce, in general, is not approved in your home country, or getting divorced by mutual agreement may not be legally recognized in your home country, so you may need to establish your divorce through the court. Up until this point, I have discussed about what you should confirm before starting the divorce process. Next, I will explain about how to proceed with divorce procedures if the governing law is the laws of Japan, meaning the Japanese laws will be applied to your divorce. In Japan, there are two ways to get divorce. The first is to have no intervention by the court, and the second is to have intervention by the court. Having the court not intervene is called divorce by mutual agreement, kyogiriko. If there's a mutual agreement between you and your spouse, you will both sign the notification of divorce, rikon toroke, and once it is submitted to the local ward city office, then the divorce is established. Having the court intervene is called divorce by mediation, choteiriko. You will apply for mediation by the family court, and if you and your spouse reach an agreement, then the divorce will be established. If a mutual agreement cannot be reached, then you will file for a divorce lawsuit with the court. I will explain more in detail about these two procedures. Let's look at some of the key points of divorce by mutual agreement, 교기리권. When divorcing by mutual agreement, you will first need to obtain the notification of divorce from the local ward city office. The document will require the signature of both you and your spouse as well as 2 witnesses. Once the signed notification of divorce is submitted to the local ward city office, the divorce will be established. If you can obtain the necessary signatures, then either you or your spouse alone can submit the document, or you can have a representative submit the document on your behalf. If you have any questions about the content of the notification or the procedures of submitting it, please ask the local ward city office. However, divorce by mutual agreement is not legally valid in some countries, so your divorce may require intervention of the court. Please be aware that your divorce can be established by simply submitting the notification of divorce. If you cannot read Japanese, make sure that you understand the content of the document you sign. There have been cases where foreign spouses who are not proficient in Japanese were led to sign a paper not knowing it was the notification of divorce, and it was submitted to the local ward city office without their knowledge. If you are worried about being divorced without your consent, it might be a good idea to submit the request for non-acceptance of notification of divorce, fujuri moshide, to the local ward city office in advance. The notification of divorce will not be accepted unless the person who submitted the request is physically present at the local ward office when the notification is submitted. We have looked at procedures to divorce by mutual agreement. Now, in case you and your spouse cannot reach a mutual agreement, let me talk about what the procedures are for divorce by mediation and divorce by filing a lawsuit, which both requires intervention by the court. At the beginning of this video, I discussed 2 key points that you must confirm before starting your divorce process. 1. Are you eligible to divorce under the laws of Japan? 2. Are you eligible to file lawsuit with the Japanese court? Let's take a look at specific examples of how divorce will proceed depending on the circumstances of foreign nationals. Case 1. One of the spouses is a foreign national, and the other spouse is a Japanese national. Both live in Japan. In this case, the governing law will be the laws of Japan, and the jurisdiction will be the Japanese court. Case 2. Both spouses are foreign nationals of the same nationality, and they both live in Japan. In this case, the couple may obtain a divorce in accordance with the laws of their home country at a Japanese court. Case 3. Both spouses are foreign nationals or different nationalities. They both live in Japan. In this case, they can obtain a divorce in accordance with the laws of the country they have resided for a period of time as a married couple at a Japanese court. Each divorce is different. For foreign nationals, the governing law and jurisdiction will vary depending on their circumstances, and these 2 key points will greatly affect which course of action to take. Before you start the process based on unconfirmed information, it will be wise to consult with a lawyer first. Now, we'll have a look at some of the questions that are frequently asked by foreign nationals about getting a divorce in Japan. Question 1. Since I'm not a proficient Japanese, I'm worried about going through a legal process in Japan. Documents required by Japanese court are also available in English, Chinese, and Korean. However, any document that is submitted to the court as evidence will need to be translated in Japanese. If you're not confident about your Japanese, have an interpreter assist you. If you're worried about paying the cost, you can contact the Japan Legal Support Center, JLSC, known as Hoterasu in Japanese. If you meet their income criteria, JLSC can temporarily cover your expenses incurring from using interpretation and translation services that are necessary for the legal process. JLSC is a public agency, which provides services to people who are unable to access professional assistance regarding their legal issues due to their limited income. With offices nationwide, JLSC provides multilingual services as well as consultation over the phone. Question 2. How long will it take and how much will it cost to go through a divorce lawsuit? The time it will take depends on each case. It could take a few months, or it could take 2 to 3 years. The cost will depend on the fees determined by each lawyer. If you decide not to hire a lawyer, the cost will be about 20,000 yen. On the other hand, if you hire a lawyer, retainer fee alone will cost from 200,000 yen to 500,000 yen. If it is difficult for you to pay for the costs, please consult with JLSC, which I mentioned earlier. If you meet their income criteria, JLSC can temporarily cover for the costs associated with hiring a lawyer. In that case, you will pay back the cost to JLSC by installment. Question 3. How will child custody and child support be determined? Under the laws of Japan, child custody is awarded to only one parent. Whether the mother or the father will assume custody will be determined by the court based on various factors. For example, the court will make a decision by taking the following factors into consideration. Which parent has been the primary caretaker of the child? Will the parent have the ability to take care of the child? Is there anyone close to the parent who will support taking care of the child? What is the will of the child? Or, how much impact will be there on the child's environment? Also, note that child support will be determined according to the income of each parent. Question 4. Do I have to return to my home country once I get divorced with my Japanese spouse? If you have been living in Japan for more than 3 years and are able to make a living on your own, it's possible that you will be granted status as a long-term resident. However, if you have been living in Japan for less than 3 years or have no means to be financially independent, you may have to return to your home country unless you change your visa status. Question 5. How much consolation money payment, ishadyo, and property I can expect to receive once my divorce is established? Often, you see characters in television dramas receiving a good amount of consolation money. But in reality, that isn't the case. Under the laws of Japan, you cannot expect to receive a large amount of consolation money. The system does not allow you to demand payment that is not commensurate with the financial circumstances of your spouse. Concerning distribution of property, assets that we acquire during your marriage will be equally divided between you and your spouse, regardless of who has ownership of the property. Question 6. Divorce is not allowed in my home country. Can I still get divorced in Japan? There are countries where divorce is not legally recognized. Whether your divorce is recognized will vary from country to country, so please consult with a lawyer for details. We hope that this video helped to give you a better understanding of how a foreign national can obtain a divorce in Japan. Divorce is one of the many options you have in life. It is also important to consider how your divorce will affect your children. You're not alone. We are here to help, so come consult with us. The contact information for the Japan Intercultural Intelligence is shown here. You can also contact us by email or by sending us a message on Facebook. Here are some resources you can use when dealing with other family issues. If you are looking for ways to get away from an abusive family member, please contact Women's Consultation Service provided by your local municipality during the day on weekdays. There are also shelters provided to victims of domestic abuse, where mothers can stay with their children. If you need to get away immediately, during nighttime or the weekends, do not hesitate to call the police. If you would like to receive advice, Domestic Violence Hotline Plus, DV Sodan Plus, provides multilingual consultation services online through a chat function. If you would like to receive advice on childcare, your local municipality provides support services such as Children and Family Support Center and Child Consultation Center. We hope you found this video useful.